To fitness level 10, and it's early, right? But we've already had some breakthroughs this morning at fitness level 10. What's so exciting is that people come here to live their life fired up. I know the gym mentality is we're not a gym to start with, but the gym idea is I don't want to start a program that I might suffer by comparison in. I don't want to do a program that everybody's going to be looking at the weakling. You got to get out of your own way. Like you're making up rules that aren't there. At Fitness Level 10, we're a studio, and we have life breakthroughs. We're going for living your life fired up. That's it. That's the bottom line. That's the mantra. That's the focus. That's the story of our community at Fitness Level 10, is that we're trying to live our lives fired up. And that looks different to everybody. It looks different to you than it looks to your neighbor, right? So when you're thinking about living your life fired up, I really want you to pay attention to what that means to you. Write it down. More often than not, what I hear is I want more energy, I want more confidence, and I want to look better, feel better, move better. Like those are the things that people say because, of course, all of that boils down to I want to have more fun in my life. I have too much stress, not enough fun. That is what we do. We focus on more fun and less stress. So we had a breakthrough this morning, and I really want to emphasize this. It was phenomenal, but it's something that I've talked about all along, and it's the push-up. It's the push-up. Like the push-up gets a really bad rap, and it's because we think that it's just a strength issue. It's not. It's a life consideration. How are we managing our lives? And while it can be a little bit funny because we can talk about, this is a guy push-up. Right? He's just trying to rep it out, feeling good about himself that he can get, 150 of them done. And this is a female push-up. This is what happens when women do push-ups. They're like, bend their elbows, bend my elbows. This is what it looks like, right? I've done a video on this before, but here's the thing. When you do push-ups and you collapse your shoulder blades together, right? When you're here and your arms are out in front and you do a push-up and you fall deep into the shoulders, instead of leaving your shoulder blades open, you collapse them. It's actually symbolic of how you're handling your life, how you handle the stress in your life. If you feel like you've got a lot of stress on your shoulders, a lot of weight, a lot of burden that you're carrying, you're going to collapse those shoulders to protect. But here's what happens. It puts it in the joint. It doesn't get you strong using your chest muscles. It puts it in the joint, and it hurts, and you're going to stop doing it. It's very symbolic. If you're carrying heavy burdens in your life, and it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, you're going to naturally protect. And it feels like you're protecting by kind of giving away your will, giving away your power. You're like, the burdens are too heavy, I can't hold it, collapse. When you do a push-up, I want you to think about doing it just a little bit differently. I want you to think about claiming your power. I want you to think about the things that are stressing you out. You feel like you have no control over, whether that's illness or it's, an energy vampire in your life that's sucking the life out of you. If it's a struggle with finances, if it's a personal struggle, like you devalue yourself and you don't understand your own self-worth. Those are things that you're trying to control, but we feel powerless, like we don't have control. And so we give way. We let go of our boundaries, if you will. Because kindness has boundaries, love has boundaries. Like there's healthy boundaries associated with it. That doesn't mean we're putting walls up. That means that we are doing what we can have in our control and letting go. Because the rest is just fear. The rest is, well, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe somebody's going to overpower me, or they won't like me, or I'll be judged, or whatever the fear is. Let go of your fear. So when you let go of your fear, your body's going to respond differently. It's going to perform on another level. And so a push-up is actually very symbolic of how you're dealing with your stress. If the world is on your shoulders, you'll collapse in the shoulders. However, your arms actually represent giving and love, right? And your shoulder blades, right there in the middle, the thoracic spine is T, 5 and 6. The vertebrae are 5 and 6. That's actually an energy chakra, right, between the shoulder blades. And it's exactly opposite of where your heart's located. And your heart represents peace and love and joy. So it's really a conflict to have the weight on the weight of the world on your shoulders, to have stress and fear on your back while trying to practice love and happiness and peace here. So I hope some of this is resonating with you. I hope that you're like identifying. It's like, that's interesting. So watch yourself do a push-up. Are you able to just bend in the elbows? Your elbows represent that connection between goal setting and giving, right? If you give yourself away and you don't have those healthy boundaries, it makes it very hard to practice love and happiness and peace, because those two, with fear on your back, those two cannot coexist. You can't love and have fear at the same time, right? Love eliminates fear. Or fear eliminates love. You gotta, one casts out the other. So it's really important that when we're living our lives and there's stress involved, and every single one of us has stress. Like, there's no such thing. Don't believe social media that everybody's life is perfect but yours. It's not. We all have stresses. It doesn't matter if we're financially well off. We still have stress. It doesn't matter if our relationship is the best on the planet. We'll still have stress. Like, and personal development and growth, there's always stress there because we have natural self-doubt, right? So watch your push-up. Watch your push-up. Are you able to open up those shoulder blades, round them, squeeze the glutes, tighten up? This is your core. It's your powerhouse. That's your foundation. That's where all the magic happens, right? That's where your hormones live. That's where personal balance lies, is right there in the middle of your body. And then you push away, open those shoulder blades, and then just bend the elbow. So instead of falling in the shoulder blades without bending the elbow, I want you to keep those shoulder blades open, and then just those, just bend and press out. Bend and press out. Practice that. Practice it, because it's very symbolic of how you're living your life and how you're dealing with stress and how you deal with your personal foundation, your personal beliefs, your values. The biggest conflict out there, meaning when you live your life, from the time you open your eyes to the time you close them at night, the biggest conflict is your belief system and your behavior. That those two don't mesh all the time. Now, some of us have mastered that, and we're pretty consistent with not having the conflict, right? We're pretty consistent about feeling love more often than fear, being able to stand our ground, and having healthy boundaries without shutting people out, with being able to give back what the responsibility other people have for their own emotions, so that you don't take it personally. That takes practice. Some people have mastered it. Some of us are still working on it. But whatever's going on in your life, assess it. Look at it. Be okay with it. We all have struggles. When you move your body, you can move your mind. You can get out of the struggle. You can look at it more objectively. Instead of taking things personally or being down on yourself or struggling, heading to the kitchen to eat something fluffy because it will make us feel better in that moment. And we all do it. We all do it. I don't care what size you are. We all do it at some time or another till we can pull it back and go, okay, I need to deal with what's in front of me. When you deal with it, it can be painful. It can be really uncomfortable, but we got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's where change happens. That's where the transformation happens, is when we can look at the pain and address it. And the pain might just be that maybe we didn't get out of bed when the alarm went off and we're starting the day late. That can be painful, because then you're kind of running to catch up for the rest of the day. And so to address that is like to prep the night before. Get your clothes out and decide, when the alarm goes off, I'm going to get up. That is going to relieve some of that stress, some of that pain, some of that discomfort that we feel when we fall below our own expectations of what we're capable of doing. So think about your push-up. Think about how you're dealing with life stress. Think about how much of the time do you live in fear, and how much of the time do you live in love? How much of the time are you trying to control things that are out of your control? And how much of the time are you willing to let go of that without letting go of your values? How much of the time are your values, the things that, like good health is a value that we all have. We all believe that healthy is a better method of living our life than unhealthy. If health is part of your value system and you see yourself doing unhealthy things, that's going to be a conflict. And your push-up may look like you're giving away your power, because in that conflict, you lose power. Your happy place is peace and love. And we know that. And we're trying to get there more often than not. So think about your push-up, how your body moves, and the relationship between your physical being and how you deal with the rest of your life, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, which is our value system, right? And then watch yourself begin to live fired up as you master these things, master the mindset, master the emotions, master the stress levels. Look at what's painful, address it, find a solution, go. It's magical. Live your life fired up. Here we go, you guys.